Hey, welcome to InfoGamer Hub, the podcast. My name's Nathan.
My name's Mark.
And we wanted to create a podcast for our YouTube channel so that we can keep all of our subscribers up to date on our channel, what kind of things we're working on, and what we have planned for the future.
In this episode, we're going to cover some of the updates that we've put on the website and YouTube this week. And we're also going to cover My Crypto Games app that we have on the Android marketplace. You can win $100 on that app right now. We have a promotion going for that.
I have an awesome game mechanic that I'll be showing all of you. We'll also be playing one of your guys' games on the episode today, and we'll have a look at our website. All this and more, so make sure you stay tuned and watch the full episode. On to our housekeeping section. So first note of housekeeping, we have this new podcast format that we're trying out. This was an idea that we had in the works, and we're finally getting to it where we want to do these regular update videos. We're going to try and do them every other week or bi-weekly, and maybe if we get really good at it, we can bump it up to doing it every week.
Yeah, I'm excited for the podcast, just to update our viewers with what we're working on. Sometimes we don't get a video out every week, and so our subscribers might be wondering where we're at, and we'll be able to tell them or update them on a bi-weekly or weekly basis.
And I think these podcasts will also give us an opportunity to talk about things other than just lessons, where we have our lessons and we try to keep those videos as simple as possible and not have a lot of filler or a lot of talk outside of the lesson. And so this video format or podcast format will allow us to have more of a conversation back and forth and really get engaged with all of you. That's our plan.
You guys will get to know us better, and we'll be able to get to know you guys better as well.
Now, what are you going to be working on this week, Mark?
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Just like usual. No, I'm going to be getting back into the swing of things, and it's going to be lots of fun. Probably do an intro playlist, just because I will be getting back into things. And lately I've been into databases, and that's what I do for work. And so I've been busy with that. But Nathan's my bro. He's awesome. He's letting me just come back in with like nothing's happened.
Well, you've always been there in a supporting role and helping out here and there.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
So, it's not just about doing the videos. It's about, all the other stuff that we do, because it's just us two, and we tend to maybe spread ourselves a little too thin in some cases, but we'll get there in the end. This week I'm working on, I've been working on my campfire game, and that's coming along pretty well, although I did take a little bit of a break from it just because I actually took a trip to Ohio this last weekend to go visit some family on my wife's side. And then I've also been I switched gears, been working on the My Crypto game. I'm adding in some fixes here and there. But one thing that's really cool is I'm working on adding a multiplayer capability for some mini games where players will be able to compete against each other for their crypto bucks.
Oh, that's really cool. That sounds awesome. One thing that I like about the mini game is the modularity of it. Work on a small section, a small game, and be done with it and add it in. And we're hoping in the future that we'll be able to add some of your games into this, add some of our subscribers' games into the minigame list.
Yeah, so there was a time, a couple of years ago on our old website, we were asking for subscribers to submit their games, and we actually hosted them on our website. We kind of moved away from that for a while, but I think we'll get back into it, and that's one of our plans for this new year. All right, so some of you might already know this, but we've recently released a new app on Android, which is called My Crypto Games. And we created this app as a way for players to earn free virtual currency by playing video games.
So the app profits go back into an investment that we have in crypto, and you can see that in the app, and that will fluctuate up and down because it's an actual investment that gets updated on the nightly, and depending on what the investments do, that will either decrease or increase. We also have a thing where each virtual currency is a portion of what the value of that total in-app currency is. So if a player has 1,000 coins, they're going to have a bigger portion of that in-app prize designated to them.
Yep.
But
and
yeah,
players will earn virtual currency by playing the mini games. So as you play the mini games, you earn virtual currency, and then your portion of the crypto investment will grow.
and a bunch of the app profit is from ad revenue. And so we require you guys to watch a couple ads per to try to increase that ad revenue.
We also have a mechanism for burning virtual currency, not burning crypto, but as players play for a bit and then they end up leaving and stop playing the game, their virtual currency becomes void. And so that'll raise the value of the virtual currency that consistent players have earned.
Yeah, so essentially, don't get worried if your value decreases because there's a lot of players playing at the same time. That will be the more players we have, the more that investment can increase.
Yep. And we're going to add to the investment on a regular basis. And so as we get more players playing, while you might see your virtual currency drop in value because the amount of players that are playing, as the app earns more money, we'll add more money into the investment, spreading it around for everybody.
Yep, and with that burn thing that Nathan mentioned earlier, when the players start dropping off because they don't think that they're going to earn it quick enough, that will increase the value of the rest of the coin remaining, the virtual currency remaining, and will boost the consistent players' value of their virtual currency.
Now, since our app is so new, we currently haven't paid anyone out, but in the app, it explains that at this point in time, we're going to pay people out once their virtual currency reaches a value of $50.
And the amount of players we have and the amount of app profit that we have received, we can actually add 10 additional dollars. Again, remember, this is just starting out, and so that should increase over time with the more players that we receive. That
currently in the app, it's showing that we have $484 available. That's the investment that we've made into crypto that we're willing to pay out to players, and so we're going to bump that up by $10 by investing in Bitcoin. So right now we have Doge and we have SHIB. And after today, if you log into the app, you'll be able to see an additional section for our investment in Bitcoin.
That's awesome. And we're also going to have a running total of how much we've added and what periods of time we've added money to the app. And that will be on the blog post that we have down in the description of this video.
So currently on CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin is sitting at about $18,870 per coin. And doing the calculation, that works out to about 0.00053 Bitcoin. So that will also show up in the app. When you scroll down to Bitcoin, it'll show how much or how many coins or parts of a coin we have, and that will be the value. So I will push that right now.
So we've added a promotional piece to this crypto game, and that's where we're taking $100 of our own money to pay out to the first person to find the present containing the prize. And what's so cool about this game is every single player has 1,000 gifts, like actual presents, and by opening these, they have a chance of winning the $100. So let me clarify that. When you get a scratcher card, you can scratch all the numbers and never win anything. The difference between this present game is within 1,000 presents, if you scratched every single one of them, there would be $100 prize. 1,000 presents sounds like a lot for people to open, but it could be the first present that you click on is the right present. It just depends on how lucky you are. When I was testing this out myself, I was like, oh, I know that it's like 1 in 1,000 chance that I can win this, but let me go ahead and click open presents and see how long it takes me to actually find the prize. And I was able to find it within 40 tries. And if we had 100 or 1,000 players, this should be able to be won within a couple days. 1,000 players within an hour or so.
But with this game, we wanted it to be the first game that we have that has a little bit of risk involved, and that is that in order to play the game, you have to have some of that virtual currency already saved up by playing the other mini games. So it costs 10 virtual currency to play this game, and that's just so that we can not just blow out all the virtual currency, but there is some give and take in the virtual currency of the value going up and the value going down. So if everybody played this crypto gift game, then the virtual currency value would go up because the total virtual currency in circulation would decrease.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for mentioning that. That's like a really cool aspect of this game as well. Another really cool part is that the amount of the app profits that we make off this game, we're going to run another promotion off of it. If we get a lot of app revenue from people playing this game, we're going to be able to increase the prize to 200 or 300 or keep it at 100 until it just depends on what the app earnings are.
And we're going to be continually updating this app with new games, new features. I'm thinking about adding a multiplayer game where players will be able to play each other for their virtual currency as like a somewhat of a wager, but not really because they're not staking any of their real money. So there's none of your guys' money is involved in this app. It's all ad revenue, at least at this point in time. I'm just rambling. Let me go again.
No, it makes sense. When you're playing with virtual currency, it's not actually the money.
Yeah.
Because the amount that the virtual currency can decreases a lot. If you're the only player left.
Now the link for this app is in the description below. Once again, it is only available on Google Play. And so if you have an Android device, head on over and install it. It is free to download, and we just want to see how many players we can get playing our game and to see what kind of investment we can build up to then pay out to all of you. Alright, so I've got a pretty cool game mechanic that I'd like to show you, Mark, and I'd like to show everybody else. And this is a game mechanic that I've wondered about for quite some time now, and it's on how to take an animated character and turn them into a ragdoll. Now, I did some research. I was able to find some tutorials out there on how to do this, and I was able to recreate it. I recreated it for our My Crypto Games app, where in the CoinCo game, which is our Shib Dog Plinko game, the dog is animated. You have it running across the top platforms, and as soon as you fall off the platforms into the Plinko game, the dog then ragdolls. And I was able to also create a demo that we have on our website. If you go to Effects and then find the Ragdoll post, there is a playable Ragdoll demo. So,
what I like about this Ragdoll effect, I don't know, I'm probably dating myself a little bit on this, but the first Battlefield or Battlefield 2, some mortar strike would come in and the person would go flying off. I'd laugh so hard every time. You could C4 a go-kart, run into a tank, and the person would go flying off. It was great. I love the effect, and I think that's what I really like about the CoinCo game, is this ragdoll effect is a huge portion of the game. You move left to right, all of a sudden the ragdoll takes effect, and the rest of the time the dog's bouncing back and forth over a ragdoll effect.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about any additional animation on it hitting different effects. The Ragdoll takes care of it.
Yeah, and I mean the crypto game Ragdoll effect in that mini game is pretty janky. It could be improved on. It probably will be improved on in the future, but it's kind of funny.
I've noticed
how
that
janky
sometimes.
It is. Sometimes it
When,
has the Halo 3 when you like sword someone just the right way in Halo 3 and their arms would go flying apart with like little spaghetti noodles in between. It kind of has that as well. When the dog gets hit just perfectly, it's like its head goes here and its body goes here.
There was one time I got hit so hard by one of the game objects that the dog was literally spinning so fast that it kind of disappeared off the. It was awesome. It doesn't happen that often, but it was like, whoa, that was great.
Yeah, another game that comes to mind as well is Skyrim. There is ragdolls every time you die, but they're not very exciting. But whenever you go up against a giant, they have giants, and they like hit you with their club. It seems like every time your character just goes flying, just like you were saying with Battlefield 2. It's just like off the map, and I always thought that was funny as well. And that's the great thing about ragdolls. There's so many games out there where they have ragdolls implemented whenever a character dies or they get hit by an object really hard, and it's like it improves the quality of the game so much, and it just it provides a way for funny things to happen. And I think
part of that improvement is the fact that it's so versatile. It's not the same death animation every single time.
Yeah, like
it's awesome.
Original Halo, when the guys would just die like this every time, and then there's occasional times where they die on a ledge, and then they get all slurpy, and then like that was another one of my favorite effects. But that wasn't even ragdoll. That was just some weird mechanic that they added to the game so the players weren't like floating off the edge. All right, so Mark, how do you think they do it? How do you think they change from having an animated character to a ragdoll? Or I guess how do you think a ragdoll works?
Well, I think that they have the process of the animator, whether they're walking, running, or jumping, and then they have an exit sequence for whenever they get hit by something or it triggers the ragdoll, and then all of a sudden all of their body parts are physics based only. They interact with gravity or force.
Yeah, with the rigid bodies and colliders, right? Yeah, exactly right. So initially you'll have your character with an animator, and they'll have all their animations, their attack animations, walk, run, all that. And then you'll have code, which registers if they're shot by a bullet or a sword or whatever it is, a giant's club. And then it'll switch from having the animator active. You can just disable it in the code. And then you'll have a ragdoll. Unity actually has a ragdoll creation option where you provide the different joints or bones from their armature, from their rig, and then it'll create the ragdoll. It'll attach rigid bodies and colliders and joints between the bones, and so in order to switch from an animator to a ragdoll, you'll have to have code that enables all those components that deal with the ragdoll.
So here's a question on the here's a question back at you with the Coinco game when the Shibdog falls and gets too much force, and then it starts looking really janky because it's getting pulled so far away from the dog. Is there settings in the Unity
components?
Oh, geez. Yeah, the Unity components to try to like keep it from interacting that hard.
Yeah, there's in the joint components. I don't have it up right now, but they have dampening and limits, so you can have like rotational limits on how far each joint can rotate, and
yeah.
you can even have break limits. So if they get hit with a certain force and it exceeds that break limit, then you can have that joint detach, and then all of a sudden they have like a broken arm that's just swinging, or
cool.
like totally
Or it's just
disconnected.
flying off the
yeah.
map.
Yeah, exactly. So
We didn't put that in the Coinco game because we wanted to keep it everybody rated.
yeah. So
It's like, you got a leg in the 5 coin slot. Oh, you got a... That would have been a morbid version of the game. You got 5 points for 2 legs and 2 points for a body.
yeah. So once again, this is a playable demo on our website, and I've left a link in the description below where you can have fun with it. And also I've left a link in the description below where you can download this Unity project for free.
The cool thing about the Unity project is you'll be able to see what components are. You'll be able to make adjustments and interact with it. Maybe learn something new about ragdolls.
Yeah. And you can even use it as a starting line or a baseline for a ragdoll in the game, in your next game. All right, welcome to our We Play Games section. Right now we're going to play one of your games. This game was submitted to our Discord channel or a Discord server by someone named Moffin, and it's pretty fun. It's Moffin's 2D 3D shooter. I think that's what it's called.
Have you heard of the Moffin Man?
The Moffin Man?
The Moffin Man!
Who lives on Moffin, Maine? Yeah, so it's Moffin's 2D 3D multiplayer shooter. So let's check it out. All right, so first off, right off the bat, we're introduced to a loading screen, and then it just goes straight into an input field. You can definitely tell this game was made by Unity, not only by the splash screen that says it was made with Unity. The UI has not been changed. It's just the default input field. So I'm going to type my name, just going to type Nate for now. Click to enter game. So this also looks like, one thing that I could tell is it's probably made with Photon Pun too, because it's very similar. It could be something else, but this almost looks like they followed one of my tutorials. Another thing that I'm noticing is that it's very similar to my multiplayer custom lobby tutorial. So I wonder if they watched my tutorial and used it to create this menu. So are you creating a room?
No, I was going to let you create it.
I'll create it. Info Gamer. So I spawned in, and here we go. Walking around, just this flat 2D character in a 3D world. And I can shoot.
My room list isn't starting up.
You might need to restart.
Reload the
game and load it in. Pretty fun, pretty great for what it is. And I do like the concept of a 2D character walking in a 3D world. The one concern I have in the gameplay of it all is that it's very difficult to be on the same Z-axis, the same Z-plane as other players and be able to shoot them. So it's almost like they need to implement more of like a Doom mechanic where you're not actually aiming, but if you're in the general direction of a monster, then it kind of auto aims at the monster. Like with Doom, the Y-axis doesn't matter. You can be like lower than a monster. Monster could be up on a cliff, and even if you're just in facing the right direction, you'll hit the monster. You don't have to like point up to shoot at him.
Lost connection to Photon. Please try again.
Aha! Confirmed. It is with Photon. Might need to get you on an emulator. There's a jump button. Whoa, you can actually jump. But why? Oh, that's funny. And there's no oh geez. There's no check for if is grounded. So you just can keep jumping. Go flying up. Ooh, no fall damage.
All right, it's spawning me in.
Nice. All right, you'll have to come find me.
You have to find me first. I'm outside the map.
Ah, already? Ah! You fell in the background.
How did I fall in the background?
You shot
there you
me.
are. Whee!
See, I can't move and shoot at the same time just because my,
Oh, so I got the upper hand.
yeah, you probably end up killing me. Oh, I got you once.
So...
Get back here. I died. And when you die, you fall through the map. And I got killed by you 3 times. Said,
because I hit you twice?
I don't
You
know.
actually respawned this time.
Yeah. It said you've been killed by Mark, but it popped up 3 times.
Yeah, because I think I hit you. The register.
Yeah, there was probably, even though my sprite went away, it was probably still...
Can we go inside these buildings?
No, I don't think so. But you can jump on top of them.
You kind of fall off of them. So... It's like whoever goes into the other person's line will probably end up losing. What was that? You were like knocking me back. What?
I killed you. You respawn?
No.
Or did it break?
Network ping.
Huh?
2032.
Your what is? Network ping?
Yeah.
You're still falling? You need to, like, press the button to respawn?
I pushed all the buttons.
So, a little janky, little buggy,
Can you
but kind
see
of fun.
this? I just sent you a chat. Oh, the chat's not.
Nah, chat doesn't really work. I tried that. There's not really a send button.
Well, that's that.
Yeah, so... Oh. My game just crashed or something.
Nice job, Moffin.
I think it might have just crashed my entire emulator. Let's see. Task manager. Because none of the buttons on my emulator are working. Well, we probably got enough gameplay footage.
Yeah, I don't know how in depth we need to go on player games. Just be like, here's us playing a game. All right, that was like 2 minutes or like less than 2 minutes, like 30 seconds. And be like, well, that was the game. Nice job.
Yeah. So you don't want to be like, well, you could tell. The first thing I noticed that they probably used a free low poly asset pack. And then I'm sure
Not only did we...
Yeah, they might have created their own 2D sprite because there were only 3 animations for the sprite. There was an idle, a walk, and a shoot animation. The bullet was like, what is that? It's just some random symbol. It's not even like a bullet. It looks more like a flying razor blade, Beyblade thing. It's a flying Beyblade.
That's funny.
Then there's some serious problem with the photon networking because you can't even play it except for
it's almost like you just followed one tutorial and thought this should be good.
Like, I killed you. Now uninstall the game. Like super brutal, super brutal. We're just joking around, Moffin. I think you did great. I don't know where you are along the lines of. I don't know where you are along the lines of your journey in game development. You might be just a beginner, and in that case, it's awesome that you were able to put that all together. You're probably working by yourself. You might have a team, you might have a friend that you're making it with, but we just want to be, as encouraging as possible and just keep it going. Probably not going to recommend anyone download it because it's so buggy. So fix those bugs, and then once you have, you can post it again in our Discord.
Yeah. And I don't know, I kind of feel like if we say, hey, switch it to 2D assets, make the map a little smaller, if you can have up to 10 players in a room.
Well, even if the sprites are 2D, the controls are all in 3D. So yeah, I would probably just leave it all in 3D and then replace what's being shown with the 2D asset kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just have it be like Paper Mario, where it's like, oh, there's something here that is, it looks two-dimensional, but there's this 3D z-axis planing going on. And even though this object, if it were 3D, would be like this wide, like he has in the game, like where he's got buildings that are like this wide, you just do a 2D picture of a building and you go behind that building and it's this thin, it's paper thin, even though it's a big building. So yeah, that's the thing is like with his game, I would say none of it has to be 3D except for the ground plane, right?
Yeah.
And it still has, you could just leave all the colliders except for the building colliders. If you're reducing the length of the building, you just have it be paper thin or whatever. But everything should have some sort of width to it if you're playing on a z-axis like that. Because if, like you were saying before we were talking, or before, I'm just rambling. Like you were saying before this, if everything was paper thin, it would be impossible to hit anything. So he does have that, like, there is
front
this
catcher
buffer zone, or a width to everything. I just think that the width could be somewhat wider, or you have some sort of doom, like I was saying, some sort of doom targeting, where it's like, I'm close enough, the bullet hit this guy because he's close enough to that z-axis kind of thing.
It's kind of, it's like the Doom aspect of it. You'd want to still have, if you're doing a 3D plane, you'd want to be able to shoot in the 3D plane as well, somehow, where it's at least got some angles on it, because then it's kind of very two-dimensional.
It's just, how do you do that though with that fixed camera angle? If you had a character standing and right now he's facing this way or that way, how do you have that character face into the camera to shoot something behind them, or shoot at an angle, at a diagonal kind of thing? It's, how would you animate that? The guy turns, goes paper thin, and you're shooting this way now.
Pew, pew,
pew. I don't know.
Or when you rotate, the camera rotates with you, so it's always showing the same side.
Yeah, that's an idea. You could have
you're on a different plane. That would be kind of funny.
Yeah,
very confusing.
It's interesting. But then it's
you'd have to
turn
when you could turn all the way around. You'd have to show the backside.
Yeah,
as a 2D.
Or you turn.
It would also get flat on someone else's screen.
Yeah, did the enemies get flat when you turn 90 degrees, kind of thing?
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. And at that point, it's like, why aren't you just using 3D assets?
What if? Were they walking at all? The asset was walking?
It had like a little weird walk animation that didn't. It was just like a foot shuffle. It wasn't like.
I was thinking maybe you could do like a Candyland game piece that's shooting. It's like
Gingerbread Man.
Yeah, but it's the little holder. Probably too much on this for sure.
Well, this is where all the juices get flowing, all the nights where we'd stay up talking about how all these video games that we used to play or still play could be better, like, oh, well, what if they made this mechanic? And I feel like video games have kind of gone that way, where it's like, all these thoughts that we've had of like how Call of Duty could be better or whatever. And that's like now,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of detail in AAA titles now where reload animations are more accurate, or Red Dead Redemption, you can have your character get covered in mud just by wrestling in the mud, or snow plows get messed up.
Number one thing is to have it replayable so it doesn't crash when you die or whatnot.
Yeah. And another thing is just that we want to help all of you. So if you have any games that you want to share, doesn't matter how far along their journey they are, you can post them in our Discord channel. In our Discord server, we have a show and tell channel where anyone is welcome to share any games, and we will, you might be able to get your game featured on one of our podcasts.
Yeah, if you got a game that's a little more put together than that one, it's a little less buggy, maybe has a score that it keeps track of, and maybe an end game result, then send it our way, and we could add it into the mini games, so your game can be seen by at least 500 people.
Yeah,
that's what we have downloaded right now on our game. So Nathan, what have you added this week? I've heard you added something cool to the website.
Yeah, this last week I put out a YouTube video about how to create a color picker mechanic or option for a menu. And on our website, I've added a playable demo where you can actually go and pick a color, and then it'll change the object in the scene to that color.
Oh, that's awesome. So this will be like good for if you want variability in the skins of a player or something.
Yeah,
you could.
It's the same mechanic.
Change their hair color. Or...
Yeah, it's the same mechanic that I'm using in my campfire game, and I explained this in the video. But I have it set up where all of the avatars' clothes and everything, the base color is white, and as they pick a color, or as the players pick a color, it'll change the color of their shirt, the color of their hair, to the color that they pick.
That's awesome. And one thing that I like about this feature is, or this mechanic is, it's one of those things that you don't have to recreate from scratch. There's no reason to. It's just, this is something to speed up the development process. Just grab the color picker on our website, and you can insert it into your game, change some of the UI so it looks different, and you got yourself a color picker.
Yeah, and the other great thing about what I've done with this mechanic is, for the video that I put out, I tried hard to make this plugin or this asset as simple as possible. So all you have to do is drag a prefab into the scene or onto a canvas object, because it's a UI prefab. And then once it's in your scene, all the button clicking and everything's already set up. All you have to do is apply a function for the outcome. So once the player picks a color, what do you want to do with that color? So I've created a Unity event on the prefab object. So all you have to do is create a public function that has a color parameter. And then once you've created that function, you can plug it into the Unity event, and it'll take the color, whatever you're doing inside that function, it'll receive the color from my color picker mechanic, and then do whatever you code it to do.
And we got the setup steps on the video that he put out, and also the blog post.
Yep.
So it's easy to follow along and add that color picker to your own game.
Yep. And with the website, not only do we have the playable demo, we've got the video, so you can just watch it right there on our website. We have a downloadable Unity package of what I created in the video. It's free. This one is free for everybody. And we also have the code available if you want to copy and paste into your own project. And that's awesome. Yeah, and that's something that we want to start doing with all of our videos. Now, there will be some videos where we won't be able to have a playable demo because there's really nothing to demo. But we're going to try real hard to have demos, to have Unity packages, and to have the code available. Now, how about you, Mark? What are you working on with the website and the YouTube channel?
So I need to put some new updates on the instructions for the My Crypto Games app. We have a blog post for that, and we also have the Gifts game blog post that I need to put updates on. I need to put more rules and more instructions on what is happening in those games and why you guys should come and play them on the Android store. But in general, for me getting back into coding, I've been out of the game development environment for a couple years, and I've been wanting to get back into it. Been mainly in databases, and that's what I do for work. It's a lot of fun. Totally enjoy it. But I've been wanting to spend more time in game dev. And so my plan for this next 2 weeks, is to really run on some catch-up videos, run through some introductory stuff to get me back in the game and up to speed. And I'll be putting out introductory videos on what I learned through that process.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. We'll get so in future videos, it won't just be me. There'll be more videos with Mark in them as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm not like totally out of the game. I can still read all the code and mostly make sense of all of it. But it'll be fun getting back into it.
Yeah, so make sure that you not only subscribe to our YouTube channel, but you'll also go over and check out all our additional content on our website. All right, we're coming to the close of this podcast, our first episode of Infogamer Hub, the podcast.
Yeah, it's in the books. No going back now.
We just want to invite all of you to please leave comments down below this video and give us a suggestion of what kind of topics we can talk about in our next podcast.
Yeah, if you want to see us talk about something or play a certain video game, please leave it in the comments, and we'll try to cover it in the next episode. We'll see what's commented on the most, and we might leave a section of chat about it.
We also want to invite all of you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also go to our website, www.infogamerhub.com, and become a supporter today. Also check out all of the content that we have there. And finally, we want to invite all of you to download and install our app, My Crypto Games, and check it out for yourself. We've left links to all of these in the description below.
Sounds good. See you guys over there.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.